How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Brian, and today we have a very special guest on the channel. He has one of the highest win percentages across of all CRL West and East. You will know him from the title and the thumbnail. It is no other than Saint Belikin. Now, Saint Belikin and I had a great conversation yesterday. We got down to the nitty-gritty bits about the CRL League, his predictions for Fantasy Royale, where he thinks his team's going to finish, who's going to finish low, who's the best player in the world, who he thinks is going to overachieve and where they are. So make sure to stick around to the end of the video to find all that out. If you guys are finding me for the first time, what we do on this channel is we do a lot of the Fantasy Royale team selection. This is a huge boost if you guys want to help yourself get some gold and gems for the end of the season. We also do CRL match predictions, trying to get as many guests on as possible to see if they can go head to head with me to see who can get the most correct. So on a side note, if there's any creators or pro players you want to see get involved with this, please make sure to tweet them this video, trying to get more people involved to help the channel grow, make it a bit of fun, and to see who can get the most right. We also do news about new cards, gameplay, tips and tricks, so you guys do not want to miss out. You want to make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you do not miss a video. So without any further ado, let's get into the interview with Saint Belikin. I hope you guys enjoy. How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Brian, and today we have by far the biggest guest we have ever had on the channel in Saint Belikin. Do you want to say hello to everyone?
Hey guys.
How's things with you then?
It's going good, man.
Going good, going good. Obviously a bit of a rough weekend with a tough, difficult loss, but there's obviously been a lot of highlights throughout the league. Obviously you've got a lot of the head-to-head on your side against teams that are slightly lower. I watched your interview recently with Ghai, and you were saying that the distance was getting a little bit bigger between 4th and 6th place and all them sort of regions.
I honestly think you guys are going to be a playoff team. Where do you think you're going to fall in that top 6? And also, what do you think your biggest struggle or your biggest, I guess, challenge is going to be moving forward?
Well, I think we've got a really good chance at top 6 because if you look at the standings, there's sort of becoming a big divide between the top 6 and bottom 4 now.
Obviously, Misfits getting the hugest win and the hugest turnaround, getting against SK Gaming, sort of pushed them up a bit. And as well as Pain Gaming, is there anything you're a bit nervous about from the teams below maybe catching up? Or do you reckon that you have the go forward to keep up in them playoff positions?
I think we're in a fairly good position because of the strongest teams. We've only got SK left, and then we've also got Misfits and Chivas. And although Misfits and Chivas are sort of coming back after a really rough start, they're not a free win. They're still going to be hard to beat. The main thing I'm worried about is Pain. I don't think that Misfits, Chivas, or Liquid have any chance of coming into the top 6. But Pain, if it weren't for their penalty, they would have the same record of us as 3-3. So I think Pain can contest us and Dignitas for the last playoff spot, and I think that would be an interesting thing to look out for.
Yeah, because it does seem like a bit of a mad situation with them getting that penalty, as well as the fact that like their lineups don't look as difficult as well. Obviously, taking on SK Gaming is the biggest challenge ever, but if Misfits can do it, it really does show that they are vulnerable and anyone can do it, especially with Martin and OP and Sam in that 2v2 set. So currently in the league in CRL, who do you think is currently playing the best out of all other teams? Obviously, you can say yourself if you want, but you're allowed to pick whoever you want as well.
I'd have to say SK. I mean, despite losing to Misfits 2v2, they've still got the best 2v2 records. They've got an insane King of the Hill record. Like, they won King of the Hill against Misfits last week because they got Morton, Zopsam, and even with Sergio, despite not winning, they were still able to close the King of the Hill against Misfits. And Javi's done really well as well. So they're sort of Javi's, Zopsam, Morton, they're just well-rounded. They've got a strong, very strong 2v2, very strong King of the Hill, and very strong 1v1. It's a very well-rounded team.
That's fair. So do you think there's anyone who's a standout player within SK, or maybe even someone in another team as well that's really like overall performing at a high enough level that could be like a single one-on-one player? I know it's a very team-based game in King of the Hill and 2v2s, but is there one player that you standing out as like, I don't really want to come up against that player?
Well, there's one player who've really played against who stands out for me, and that's obviously Ruben, who his team has had a very overall weak 2v2. They're not a terrible 2v2 by any means, but their record has not been amazing. But yet they're 2-4 in a 2v2 set, yet 5-1 in games, and that's because of Ruben. He's the best player in West by a long shot. I played a mirror match against him where he completely destroyed me. He just outplayed me completely.
For 3 spot high and inside, Belly calls the good game. He knows that's it. Beautiful gameplay by Ruben, and again, twice getting that minor pull on the night. Belly fell for it once and then fell for it again.
His gameplay is just on another level.
That's
But
true, yeah.
the other player that has stood out for me this season has been experience has been the real standout player for me because Ruben, he's been carrying his team hard, but experience wins the 2v2 and he's winning in King of the Hill. He's got a very good King of the Hill win rate and a very good 1v1. It's like King 2v2 win rate. So he's the other standout player for me.
Yeah, I've given Ruben a lot of shout outs in my recent videos for Clash Royale, especially doing these fantasy picks, because he's just like, he is carrying that entire team by the looks of things, which must be a bit difficult for you to like say, because obviously Team Queso is a former team of yours. Is there anyone else there that's like you're still got a good friendship with?
Oh, I was with Team Case with Coochie and Benny and I played 2v2 with Benny and also I'm very good friends with Coochie, so I'm still very good friends with them. They're not on the same level as Ruben, but I mean, no one is. So, but I think they support him well, so they've got a good team going there.
Yeah, it's very rare that you might see somebody on the same level as Ruben. Sorry, I think currently the win percentage though, you're currently in the top 5 in the world. If you correct me if I'm wrong, the win percentage within the CRL league. This might have been last week's stats, but I think you had the 5th highest win percentage in the world between West and East. Is that correct?
I think it would be because I think it'd be Muggy, Ruben, Zopsam, and Morton who are all ahead of me, so that makes sense. Also, I've not had as many games as the people in East, so that's why
true.
At the start of the season there would have been people who would have had the same win rate or higher win rate than that. But now that they've played a lot more games, like it sort of like evens out.
Yeah, you must feel quite proud because obviously you did take was it 2 seasons you took out for doing your studies, which I admire quite a lot. My wife's a school teacher, so it's quite important that I know all that sort of background, that education comes a lot. And obviously for a parent looking down, they're looking at, well, what's an esport? This is a bit scary, things like that. I'm quite lucky in the situation where I'm like, yeah, if my kid gets into esports, I'm going to push that. They can do whatever they want. But obviously the generation above, they're a bit wary about esports, how long can it last and things. So it's quite admirable that you did take that time out to make sure you finish your studies, and that's quite a noble thing to do, because obviously a lot of kids your age would be like, we need to go and do this esports thing, this is my career, this is what I want to do. They don't have the future sight. They say this might be temporary. Obviously for your sake we really hope it's not, and we hope it for everyone's sake, we hope it's not, but it was quite a noble thing to do, is that you have to concentrate on your studies, because I imagine there was a lot of pressure from your parents at that point, because they were a bit scared of what this could be, because it's not something that's new to them. So how did that sort of feel with you?
Well, I mean, I think it's important to have education as at least a backup, because especially with Clash Royale, since it's a new unstable esport, there's always changing things. You have to have a backup option, and I think some players will suffer because they dropped out completely from school, and if something happens to the league, they're not in a position. They're in a position where they need to retake school, and they will just be a few years behind everyone else in that respect. So I think it was a good decision that I took time out to go to school, and then now that I've finished secondary school, I can now focus on this until it ends. When that finishes, I can go off to something like university or an apprenticeship or something to give me a stable career for the rest of my life.
Yeah, cause I don't know if you remember, or probably you do. You remember Colton and Razor used to be the 2v2 duo for Complexity at the time. Obviously, Razor's now with Team Liquid. I remember reading an interview with Colton, who spent like all of his money to make sure he goes to this tournament, and he actually won it, and then he was picked up by Complexity, and everything went really well for it. But it makes you worry about people who do bank on that and go for them sort of things and then don't quite make it. Obviously it's the same in like maybe sports and sort of go banking everything on your business, but obviously it works out for some people. So not commiserations, so congratulations on it actually working out for you and making sure you go to school and all that. So very well done on yourself. And you obviously picked up a lot of Spanish recently, being in Queso and now Chivas. Not Chivas, sorry, now Cream Real Betis. I keep getting mixed up between Mexico and Spain. But obviously you picked up Spanish. Is that one of the subjects you took in school now?
Yes, but in secondary school Spanish, like before A levels, you don't really learn a decent amount of Spanish, just a very bare minimum. So I feel like I learned more from being around lots of Spanish-speaking people than from school.
Yeah, fair play. No, it was absolutely amazing anyway, because I remember doing French in school and I basically got the lowest mark you needed to pass, but I was delighted with that because I was really bad at learning language. Okay, so we're going to move on now to your Fantasy Royale team selections for this week. And obviously this weekend is going to be a completely different set because this is the first time there's no double game weeks for teams. So do you want me to have a run through of the people you've picked for this weekend?
So yeah, as you pointed out, this is the first week where we don't have a team playing twice. For example, last week we had Casey playing twice. So first of all, the easiest pick ever was Ruben
Yeah,
because
I had him straight in, first name in the
straight
team
straight
sheet that
in.
way, yeah.
But now that luckily this team is sort of so this week it's mostly very strong teams versus generally weaker teams. So
Yeah.
it's not as hard as it could have been this week, but next week's might be even harder since you might see less standout games where you know this team is going to win.
Yeah,
So,
that's
so
true.
to start off, we've got SK against Chivas,
Yeah,
then Misfits against Scream, us, Space Station Liquid, Tribe Dignitas, and Pain Queso.
yeah,
My first pick for this week is RF because Space Station is on hot form right now. RF obviously on very hot form right now after
Yeah.
the recent match against us. But the thing is, when there's nobody playing twice, you have to pick. All of your players have to be 2v2 players because you need someone who will 100% play and has a very high chance of winning. But RF also has an advantage where he always plays first in King the Hill,
okay.
and Liquid is one of the weaker teams. So RF is, I mean, I think he's the pick that everyone should have this week.
Yeah,
He's
I
the,
agree. I agree. He was one of the first people on my one for this weekend as well because he's always going to be in the 2v2 slot and he's got the King of the Hill chance as well. So, yeah, very good choice. I agree with them too so far.
so my next pick was in SK against Chivas. I'm going for XOP Exam
Yeah,
because lots of people would like to pick Morton over XOP Exam, but if you look at their King of the Hill, XOP Exam always plays before Morton, and for this reason, he has 9 games in King of the Hill, and Morton only has 5. But obviously, they'll get the same crowns in 2v2. So
yeah,
having XOP Exam over Morton, I think, is a better pick. So I
very
think
good.
XOP Exam is the second pick.
That's a very good choice. Currently, I do have that same as you said, everyone else,
Mm-hmm.
and I do have Morton, but I might have to reconsider that now for the weekend
Yeah.
because that's a very, very good point to bring up. Okay.
And after this, you can sort of get variants. There's different picks which might be better. So I'm just going to list a few picks which are genuinely very good. So
Yeah.
more than 4 picks overall. Obviously, you pick 4 of them. But I think RF and XOPX are the staple picks.
Yeah.
And then these picks, so Morton, Michifu, Boothmac. Between these 3, I think these are the other good picks because these are all very solid 2v2 players playing against a weaker 2v2, and they also play King the Hill. So
Yeah.
I think these picks are the next picks you should be thinking about.
Fair play. I do have Boothmac in my selection, but I also have yourself because I'm a bit of a bias with getting the UK boys involved. But yeah, very, very happy with the way Boothmac's been performing. Obviously, Tribe's hit a little bit of a slump recently from the amazing start they had, but I still won't rule them out of finishing playoff places. It's going to be quite tight between yourself and him. Do you know Boothmac very well?
Yeah, I know Nate well. We actually live about an hour away from each other, and
Oh, really?
we're teammates from Team UK.
Yeah. Oh, that's fair play. Didn't know you were actually that close up there with each other, but yeah, very, very good. All right, so in your predictions for the results of each match this weekend, who do you think is going to win? With obviously the 5 matches, 3 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. Do you want to just run through who your predictions are to win each match?
So SK Chivas, I see this as a very straightforward win for SK.
Yeah,
I think they got complacent last week with they were against the 0-5 team. They put in surgery because they want to give them a chance. They think we're basically got world finals already. We got top 2 short already. But now that they've lost, it's a wake up call for them. They're going to go in with all guns blazing, and I think they're going to take this 2-0 because they want world finals.
Yeah, they do. They want to get back there to get revenge on that 1 HP tower from last year.
Alright, so Misfits Cream. Although obviously we've got a better record than Misfits, I think their record doesn't show how strong they are. Every 2-2 loss, they've lost 1-2, and then they beat the best 2-2 in the league.
Okay.
And obviously they beat them in 1v1 as well. So
Yeah.
I think we will win, but it will be a hard match. We're not going to go in and assume it's just a free win.
No, that's very important because obviously Air Surfer sort of knows what he's doing and has the experience of being in different places. So it'll be quite good to see where that's going to be.
Yeah, they have nothing to lose.
No, they don't. They've got everything to gain and nothing to lose.
Exactly.
You're spot on with that.
Space Station Liquid, I see this as the most straightforward match. I think it's just going to be a sweep by Space Station. I don't see any way that Liquid wins this.
Yeah.
Because they just seem demotivated, where Space Station really wants to make it to World Finals.
It's so weird. What do you think could be the cause of Team Liquid playing so bad this year? Obviously, they were the current world champions from last year, and now they're going back and right down to where they've never been before. Is this like a second season syndrome of like somebody who's got so much pressure on them, or do you think it could be something else?
Complacency.
Yeah,
I think they had the similar problem in the previous season, which was a lot smaller, as they lost. They only beat Dignitas and Chivas, who ended up not. They barely escaped into playoffs, where they got destroyed by Space Ocean, where only
yeah,
Diga B won, and then they kicked him, which I don't really understand. As obviously Diga B now, I mean, despite a team doing fairly badly, he's got a top 10 win rate and a really solid 2v2 and 1v1 win rate.
that's true.
I think he was their strongest player, and I don't really like the decision to kick him.
Yeah,
But I think it's a bit of a mixture of complacency and well, I think that's the main thing. Just they're the world finalists, and now they're not sure if they care or want to put in as much time as they did last year.
no, it was quite weird because obviously Team Liquid's one of the biggest esports corporations within the whole of the CRL league. In terms of the world, they are one of the biggest, which is quite weird to see them not put the effort in because obviously there would be a lot of pressure from the boards above them. It's thinking, what's going on here? Why is this happening? But we can only find out what's going to happen in the coming weeks now. So yeah, do you want to carry on with your next one?
Right. So now we're going to Sunday. It's Tribe Dignitas. I think that Tribe will win, although I don't think it'll be an easy win for them. Dignitas are on a losing streak, and they know they need to get back how they started, because they started off very well, but their last week was awful for them.
Yeah,
But I still think Tribe will sneak out the W. I think their 2v2 is a lot stronger, and King of the Hill 1v1 it has a slight edge over them. So I think Tribe will win this 2-0.
that's fair enough. Yeah, because I know Cody Co's like doing an absolute bits in that team at the minute, but the 2v2 of Buffmac and Azealis right now is pretty strong as well as having Jupiter King and TNT in the back pocket for their head-to-head specialists. So yep, very good choice. And finally, for the second match on Sunday.
I think this would be the closest match of this weekend, Payne Casey. As I think Payne's 2v2, from how Lucas and Wallace have played, I love it. It's a really good 2v2. I think they're one of the better 2v2s in the entire league. So I think they will win this 2v2. I love how they play. Their synergy, like when they were playing Logbait, it was beautiful. It was really good gameplay.
Yeah,
And I think they have a chance of winning if they get a hard counter against Ruben. Like Jacob B beat Ruben because he got a really good matchup. He almost lost, but he got a really good matchup and he managed to close out that match. And because of that, if they won a 2v2, they would have beaten Queso. And I think Payne could do a similar thing. But if they don't get a hard count against Ruben, there's nothing stopping the Ruben train from beating them.
yeah, because their story at the minute seems to be a bit of a fairy tale. Because obviously it was a lot of new people brought into Payne. No one really gave them much of a chance, but they started off a bit slow, but have really got the momentum behind them now. So I'm going to leave it there. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Just want to give a huge thank you to coming on the channel. Is there anything you want to say to anyone watching before you go?
No, I don't think so.
No, perfect. Well, good luck in the weekend's games. I'll for sure be watching and be rooting you on because I'll need them fantasy points. So don't let me down getting them crowns. And I will speak to you soon. Best of luck, and I will see you guys next time. If you are new around here, I'm going to be leaving all of Saint Belikin's links down below. Make sure to go follow him on Twitter, Instagram, and all that good stuff. If you are new around here, please drop a sub on the channel. I really, really appreciate all the support, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Peace.